We're going to test out a new lavalier mic, see if it's working, and hopefully the audio is not terrible. Today kind of managed to get away from us. We always have church early in the mornings, and that takes up most of our morning because we go to church an hour away. After getting everything done on the computer that I needed to, it was too late in the day to really start any projects, and it's kind of too hot outside. So I just wanted to come through and kind of talk about some of the wild and crazy dreams that we have for our homestead and some of the things that we really are looking to do over the next 10, 20, 30 years. Now, we live in a pretty hilly area. We live on the top of a mountain, and we own the entire valley behind us, which gives us a lot of capabilities of things that we can do. But we have a lot of places like this where it's relatively flat and it's already kind of silvopastured to start. You can see if we pan over this way, the previous owner had already cleared a lot of the trees, but he was doing this for deer management, not for homesteading or food management of any kind. So the good news is we have an abundance of deer. Even though this is what a lot of people would probably consider silvopastured, there's a lot of trees in here that are dead or just not trees that we want to cultivate and keep on here. So a lot of these will probably end up getting cut down as well. A lot of this will probably become pastures for our animals. We'd love to cultivate the grass some and just get more grass growing with a good variety mixture. The trees will provide some protection for the animals from the sun, and since we're going to cultivate things like the oaks, we can actually gather up those acorns and use it for things like acorn finishing our pigs. We utilize none of this space for any of our grazing animals, mostly because our livestock guardian dog isn't big enough to really come out here, and we keep him locked up at night, and we definitely have coyote issues. We have bears. We may change our idea for this and make it into something different eventually, but for right now, it makes the most sense to just make this pastures. It's the closest second pasture in what we would call probably our zone 2. It's always difficult to tell slope on a camera. So just for reference, the hill I'm standing on is about like this. Just to help orient you, the pasture that we're going to be turning into our livestock pasture is literally about 10 feet up the hill, right on top of this ridge here. What's going to happen behind me is probably our longest term project and may not ever even happen. But what I'd like to do is turn this into a giant greenhouse on the hill that we dig into the earth, so that way we can extend our grow season pretty significantly. I'd like to terrace it up, terrace the hill, and install some type of greenhouse material on the side. This entire hill and this entire side of the valley faces south. So we can use this for all types of different things. Depending on the terracing and if I'm even able to accomplish that, we could even use this as a recreational space outdoors all winter long. And it's only a couple hundred feet from our house. This probably wouldn't be the kitchen garden, but it would allow us to extend our grow season a lot. And since we wouldn't use that space for basically anything else, it allows us to utilize more of our land that would otherwise have been effectively useless to us.
Daddy.
It's always fun having help coming around. Are you helping?
Yeah.
This is the next pasture that we have. And while it's already an established pasture, I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do with it. I don't really think that we have the animal load that would necessitate us turning this into another animal pasture. Although if we needed another animal pasture, this would be our third choice. We actually have another pasture that's completely unused and untouched right now that's ready to go. This will probably become our orchard. Just to give you an idea, we have a pretty well established area already, and it's one of the flattest portions. We get basically full sun out here, and even though this is a great area for hunting and a great area for deer, that's not what we're trying to cultivate. I have a ton of property back that way that's also going to basically remain untouched for years that we can maintain on deer, not to mention that the property directly behind me, I'd love to buy one day. Even though we could keep the 85 acres, there's a lot of property around us that as it comes up for sale, we'll probably make an offer on and see if we can purchase. Not because we have to have more property, but having more property that's already cultivated and ready would definitely make our lives a lot easier. There are already 5 apple trees up on this orchard, as we call it, but none of them have even blossomed or fruited yet this year. I don't expect that they will. I don't know if it's maybe that I trimmed them back too much because they had never been trimmed, or if the guy that sold us the property lied and they've never fruited. I'm inclined to think that he lied, because he lied about most things that he said. Even if they are growing apples and they are working, we'll probably pull them up anyway, because we're going to want to lay out this orchard in a very specific way, so that way we're getting all of the plants that we want where we want them. Again, we're looking at this from a lifetime perspective, or a multi-generational perspective, not just how can I get the fastest thing first, but rather how can we set this up so that way it works properly for the next 90 years? One of our last pastures is this one. And truth be told, we might not even make it out here before our kids are grown. This is on the very back of our property. We could do a lot of different things back on this pasture. We could do chaos gardening and just see what pops up and doesn't get eaten that we can take control of. What we do know is we want to keep it relatively maintained. We don't want this to just grow up and kind of completely go away. While we're happy to have the trails all the way through the property, the way that the former owner did it is definitely not how we would have. Basically, he took a bulldozer and pushed all of it off of the sides for where he wanted a path and just left it there. So that allowed brush and thorns and all sorts of different bushes to grow up around it. And it's basically a tangled mess. So even though we have trails all through the property, I can't walk 3 feet off of those trails at all. We knew that jumping into it, and we knew that we would probably have a lot of work ahead of us, and we do. I hope you guys have enjoyed this little bit of a tour around some of the places in our property and some of the things that we're planning on doing. Now, some of these are just in my head, and Rachel has no idea I've even thought of it. And a lot of these things will probably change over the years, because we're not the only ones that are going to be living here. We bought this property and we are doing this to make it a multi-generational permaculture homestead. We want our kids' input, especially as they get older. We ask them their input now, but our oldest is 7, so we take it with a grain of salt. While we ask for their input is going to weigh more heavily as they get older, because we hope that they want to stay here. So it makes total sense. If they want to turn this into a home site and live back here off grid, then that's probably what we're going to let them do, because we want them close. We bought this with our goals in mind, but we're not designing this and knowing that it's going to be rigid. We know that this is flexible. We have ideas of what we're going to be doing over the next 3 to 5 years, but what's happening in year 8, 10, and 20, I couldn't tell you, and I'm sure nobody realistically could.